gap, standard deviation shrinking like trust caps times derivative flatline, patience accruing interest, still water, still energy, that's physics, not wish list. They call it dead cause it's quiet, but silence got mad. Entropy building, you can feel it in the glass. I'm sitting on the slope where the variance decays. When it finally releases, it don't drift, it reways. I'm a ghost in accumulation, talking decimals and size. Volt surface folding inward while conviction multiplies. Beta traders chase noise, I chase duration. Confidence curve tighter than the Fed's narration. Every candle a confession, every wick a scar. Patience price cheap till it prove who we are. I don't hedge faith, I margin it in blood. Compression my religion, break out my flood. Stillness got momentum when you stretch it long. Quiet turns kinetic, that's the repricing song. 8 years coil, no breakdown, no spin. Pressure builds slow till the concave in. Yeah. Pressure builds slow till the concave in. Yeah. Pressure builds slow till the concave in. I seen bear markets, preach bear milieu, liquidity dry, only purists still listen. Variance ain't gone, it's hibernating deep. Sigma sleeping heavy while the restless reap. You can feel the slow flatten like a breath on hold. Vote compressed twice in the spring turn gold. Time series memory, pain in the mean, every loss in input.
What's up, Brandon? I'm gonna talk to have someone on here in about 40 minutes. We'll talk to Aldo. Brandon, I'm gonna talk to. So, just hanging out for a sec, and then we'll have. I've known him for a long time. Talk to Al. Should be fun. But Litecoin managed to keep this relative strength, and even though we had that crazy correction, this looks like this can continue. Finally, we'll get an expansion. And I think it's going to be pretty extreme. Should finally see like narrative inversion. Nice, just working and listening. Sweet, man. Hope the work is going well. But look, this is pretty solid for like when maybe we can close the day green, unlike most cryptocurrencies. But honestly, every single pair nearly looks identical. It's just compression. We should get expansion. I mean, this is so long. This compression against the dollar, against altcoins, against really everything. I just have so much confluence now. And the volume profile has looked really good here for Litecoin. I've been waiting to release so much of this content for like months. This album is called That's My Quant. But we still have negative funding rates. So pressure is going to be on shorts. I think we saw a capitulation. And really, open interest still. Oh, what the hell? This is not even Litecoin. But yeah, same thing. I think a lot of alts look like they're gonna reverse pretty quickly, but Litecoin's relative strength and high time frame compression on the dollar pair. should make it relatively explosive. I mean, I actually think extremely. This potential manipulation? No, I think I don't think you can manipulate prices on a high time frame. There's a lot of manipulation in the crypto market, but and it's hard because sentiment is so these markets are built on momentum and memes, stories. So it sucks when momentum is killed, but I think Litecoin has such a unique advantage because it's really the only chain that on the proof of work side that has a compelling fundamental case. Actually extremely compelling if the conditions align. So I think you have more natural organic compression because there's no marketing. And manipulating markets to the downside is extremely risky. There's not as much money to be made on the downside than the upside. And so in crypto, most things are manipulated higher. Mostly the manipulation's coming from illiquid coins that can be marketed and pumped on low volume. But organic pumps are far more compelling. I think the only times we've seen those in crypto are for ETH in 2016, 2017. Bitcoin early on. And then it just relied on momentum and narratives. It's truly unprecedented, but it's almost nobody has the patience, especially in crypto world, to see it through. So yeah, it's just been tough. I mean, I've been thinking this would break out way before. Typically it was so hard because I know these markets are casinos, but I thought the narrative would start to shift when Litecoin was the only chain that grew on the fundamental side, but it literally it got zero attention. The market has been trained to position in the things that terminally have values of 0, and everyone's been trained to allocate extremely aggressively to high beta casino tokens, because that's historically what went up the most. But I'd rather just keep a position in something that I can make one assumption, and if that assumption comes true, the upside is enormous. It's like, to me, the total addressable market for a lot of these coins that are really popular is very small, and there's extreme amount of competition with no real, I mean, the competitive advantage on a lot of those tokens is hard to identify. With decentralized networks, it takes a long time to establish monetary network effects and trust. So once a chain does have that, it's very hard to displace it. You can't just print a new token that's faster, cheaper. That's what you're seeing with ETH and Solana, right? It doesn't matter how centralized it is. But with the proof of work side, with the monetary side that actually has this extremely large market that it can penetrate, and I think will over the next decade, are priced so cheaply because there's no hype around them. So it's like the craziest opportunity I've ever seen. why I'm so aggressive and patient. But I think we're seeing finally relative strength here. Each prior move in relative strength was sold off really hard, and it took a lot of time to regain momentum. But this recent drawdown just looks like it's a continuation of this parabolic trend. So maybe we can finally break out of that. You know, this has been like 2,300 days against a lot of these altcoins of compression since 2020. And I'm betting on a structural change that I know is highly likely over the long term, where Bitcoin experiences like the opposite, like negative reflexivity on the narrative side, and Litecoin experiences the opposite. Because fundamentally, long term, we know that monetary demand is the only thing that will support price, and Bitcoin can only move up in monetary demand by adding higher value transactions. There's just not much evidence of that. So naturally, because the substitution trade-off is so small, if this market finally evolves, you know, or over the long term does, you know, these two networks should get a lot closer in network activity. So it's just so extreme of a discrepancy. It sucks that there's so much opportunity cost and other things pumping, but I can't. Even if a chart looks compelling like XRP did, and I thought there was good odds here to break out, I can't buy it given my understanding of what the potential is on the fundamental side. I think the odds of it going to zero are high. It relies on external things that are out of your control for adoptions, like betting on a company. Relying on how well they can market it, how well they can sell their product. And I don't even think that product, if sold and successful, equates to demand for the token. So it's like, yeah, the chart looked bullish and I thought we could get a move like this, but I'm not gonna buy it. What's up, Jacob? How are you doing? I'm gonna have Aldo on here in about 30 minutes. I'll send him a link here in like 15. Silence got density. You can feel in the air volatility fold, sigma deep in the ground. Every quiet candle just compounding the sound. 8-year coil, no panic, no sweat. Each wick another breath, I ain't spent yet. You can't chop patience, can't fake calm. I built stillness and cold, now I'm loading the bomb. Pressure square, math turn to fate. I don't know how other people aren't looking at all these pair charts and seeing the volatility compression and, you know, consistent higher lows for multiple years. This makes me think that Litecoin is going to rally against everything really hard. And again, this is the point. Like, even others itself looks pretty bullish to me. And I'm more confident in others in general rallying, you know, 4 or 5x from here. off this capitulation low, then knowing what Bitcoin's going to do. So I think we have like a 5x against altcoins, or a 5x for others in general. Not all of them will rally, but a few to push it up to like $1 trillion market cap. And this is max compression against alts. All of the charts look so similar. Major contraction. I think like first these highs, but likely maybe all the way back to its all-time high in 2019, which is like a 16, 17x move against alts. Alts move 5x. So yeah, I don't know, that's close to a 100x move from here. In dollar terms, it aligns. Like, nothing is guaranteed, obviously. It's like extremely speculative, but it's the same structure. I know nobody really agrees with me, but whatever. I think it's just delayed, but in taking more time, we're kind of here with respect to where Dogecoin was. I wouldn't follow the fractal exactly. I think Litecoins will be actually more vertical than this because the compression's tighter on the higher time frame and the fundamentals. Potential migration, I know it can pump price 10x plus in a few weeks, and it would result in the biggest narrative change we've ever seen in crypto. Hopefully we can form some network effects around this stream, and I hope some of this content I've created resonates. What the heck? The music. We will supply the narrative. This track's called Narrative Supply. What's up, Crypto and Arkham? You just call me Jackson. What's up? You can just call me ENG if you want. That's what people have been calling me. Earned or ENG in chat. What's up, Vincent? Do I think the moon is soon? Actually, I do think, yeah, it can reverse really hard off here. You never know for sure. I was unsure if we were going to... I don't know, we were talking about this yesterday with Nick. I'll probably take the wick to body trend line here. I don't know. Narrative delta fill the emptiness. Media the market make a sentimental bid. Every headline candle just a pyramid. I'm aware I'm the spark in the depends on what time frame you draw this on, but I was unsure if we would bleed down and reclaim this. But pretty good close to the day after dropping. We'll probably go sideways over the weekend. But things look pretty healthy here. It looks like spot absorption. There was quite a bit of volume here at the lows, or the last week after we had the destruction in sentiment from that attack, speculative attack. You can call it manipulation, whatever it was. And people just wanting out. Well, we had a lot of absorption, I think. And we have negative funding rates, very low leverage longs. So because of that, and this relative strength against altcoins, I think since so much supply has been absorbed here, price should rally back pretty quickly. That's just naturally what happens when you have, right, this compression. Like, that's why people draw triangles all the time. The duration of each correction should be shorter in time. And given that, you know, gold and silver had the public's attention for a second as they're entering blow-offs, but we're on like very reliable sell signals here. Weekly nines have at least caused consolidation, if not calling the top. So yeah, I think the hype's going to die for a while, at least with gold and silver. Just speculation driving price and positive reflexivity and story, just like crypto. So yeah, I don't know. If I take everything in context, I think the odds of us reversing quickly to the highs, the probability of that is really high. And I know I've been wrong before, but there's a lot of confluence. Duration. Like, I don't know. I think we definitely had a trend change in volume here, where this started the initial first leg up of this cycle. The Elliott wave terms is big 1, 2. And then just recently, I think we're going to start the major expansion, and what people call wave 3s, or like, I think we're at the end of this correction that started a year ago practically. So yeah, and we're finishing up a multi-year correction against altcoins. This sideways is basically on the sideways, but in the last 4 years, we've been consolidating in this tightening range. And I think it's about to blow out. Pressure make pilgrims cost too high, they look for the rhythm. Congestion, the preacher, scarcity, the song, every chain. The XRP overlay is falling. I think Litecoin will be, I've said it since the beginning, even though Litecoin hasn't moved yet, that I think Litecoin's move will be so much more dramatic than XRP's. And I know Nick, who's on here a lot, disagrees. But I think people are so trained based on recent price action, and I think that's not relevant at all. I think all of this is like anyone who's been involved since 2017 is trained to think a certain way, or since 2021. But I think the narrative will be far more compelling than it ever has been. So, like nothing that's pumped has had that compelling of a story. Zcash even, it's like, okay, it's a privacy coin that has heavy competition that's downtrending and relative dominance within its market sector. Yeah, I haven't changed. I think we go to 2 to 4K upon the breakout within a few months. If I had to guess. And then maybe a blow off. I do think I've thought since the beginning, like 2022, that this would be more extreme than 2017. We're seeing it play out in other asset classes, right? The moves we've seen in equities has been more extreme than 2017. Right, this was the 2016, 2017 rally. This is far more steep and slope and ascent. Same with gold and silver. There's just so much, there hasn't been much interest in crypto, but it can change really fast. I think the macro narrative aligns for certain coins to do extremely well. So I think the crowd thinks it's not going to happen because they're all holding these high beta casino coins, or they're looking at recent price action, and confusing themselves. Alright, I'm gonna send a link to Al here. Meant the bid. Yeah, I think eventually we'll structure, like, it seems inevitable to me if we move out of the casino and monetary demand has to drive price. Bitcoin is going to lose dominance. Maybe it'll gain dominance against the casino coins, but it will lose dominance for sure against Litecoin. There's just I don't see how you can convince a person that needs the security model of Bitcoin to pay 1,000 times more if they can get the same thing when they don't need the extra security. It's irrational to assume that. So I know most everyone just assumes this casino that's been built since basically the origin of Bitcoin can persist forever. I think it's a bubble. Alright, sending him this link. Just have him join whenever.
They said dead chain, I said late and cold. Dormant's note waiting on the next payload. All that doubt just data compressed. Stability dreaming in a silver chest. Hash rate hum like prophecy tone. Ghost in the ledger reclaiming the throne. Patience, Macaulay, contemplations. Now the current wave. Watch what it choose. Ghost chain glow.
We stayed quiet, let them talk. Kept it steady, built a block. They move fast, we played smart. Now we're glowing in the dark. Took the hits, we took the stairs. Skip the cloud, who even cares? Now we're up, no shade, no shame. Real ones don't need to.
Well, I think smart money already is rotating. I think you can see it here. I think somebody's noticing what I'm seeing. So many people have been trained not to even look at it. So you have to have like an open mind. And it's almost impossible. It's impossible for the average person. Like literally impossible. Unless they came around here in a previous cycle or something. It's legit impossible to override the cognitive bias they've inherited from the people who sold them the story and programmed them, and after they've, you know, thought they were correct because they've outperformed, they will never change until far too late. That's why people buy the tops too. That's why a lot of people think they've made money, but you know, they end up not making anything. That's why prices go super high. Everyone feels rich, but hardly any people actually realize their gains. Zero sum. How many more weeks? I think at the end of the month. That's what Polymarket's pricing has most likely. Oh, actually now it changed quite a bit. They're showing like 30% odds October 1st through November 7th, but then now the highest odds are after November 16th. But didn't they approve a Solana ETF? It's hilarious to me. Like, like to me, the government's bought and paid for, and so are all the institutional salespeople. Because Solana was suddenly included in the conversation, like put next to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it was done because of the influence of large funds in the space. And now they rewrote the rules right before, and Solana suddenly gets the first ETF. So it's just hilarious. They can pump and dump markets in short-term time frames. But I can't wait. If we do get this high time frame expansion, massive rally, and it's totally organic, we can carry that momentum. I can't wait to take positions against the casino. I think it's gonna die. They've extracted so much money from people. I thought this guy would maybe tweet about ETFs. Why? I can't believe they can push Solana and XRP type ETFs down retirement customers' throats just so they can dump their back. It's so... I don't know. It's just like the Trump meme coin stuff. with the Trump kids, Ponzi tokens. They said they made $1 billion from crypto by doing nothing. They just pump and dump. Fucking gross. Government's closed. Well, the government's still operating. I don't know. People are still getting paid. I don't know how that actually works. Source you. Nice. I trust you. Do I think where do you think the bottom is? Your dad almost shit his pants? I don't think so. I think there's decent odds the bottom's in now. I think we'll probably go sideways and sentiment will go from like, you know, it was extremely bearish last night. And I think if we just go sideways, it's gonna, like, sentiment will get a little shaky. But I do think, I don't know, we come down, retest the lows, and then I think we're gonna rip higher out of here. I think at least Litecoin's got a really good chance, finally. Oops. I'm no like Ichimoku person, but I do know, like on the 3-day time frame, you know, these crosses are the best opportunity to break out. So like, it's right now on the 3-day, and on the weekly, it's the next few weeks. This week, next week, and LTC against others as well. It's the next couple weeks. And the next, like, yeah, on the 3 days while here. It looks the same on so many of the pair charts. Same with LTC link. This Chigu spans can cross above the price to this. Your guess is double bottom on the 4-hour. Well, I think the strength for Litecoin against alts is going to continue, but alts could, yeah, retest the lows one more time. Maybe Litecoin makes a higher low. It's hard. I think it's so hard to predict short-term price action. There's some people that's all they do because they day trade, so they're really good at that, but then not so good with medium or higher time frame ideas. Let me see if no, Al's supposed to join the site. Did XRP look like this against all the other coins? I don't think so. It didn't have this long of compression before it broke out. No. See, there's nothing else that, like, XRP's rally was really inorganic because it was news driven and it was like regulatory clarity type mean reversion rally, and Zcash didn't have much compression, and it was more hype driven and coordinated mass marketing. So XRP and Zcash were kind of similar in that way. Like I said a million times, Litecoin's the only chain that has a path where fundamental growth can push price, and the relative narrative shift can be so extreme where Litecoin can steal some of the store value premium Bitcoin has right now. It'll be literally narrative inversion. It's a waiting game, yeah, forever waiting. Should you stop looking at price for a couple weeks? I mean, if it's affecting you mentally, maybe just check it every few days. I feel like I'm numb to it, but I have a view that's not entirely based on technical analysis. But I don't think the chart looks bad. I think it looks strong. I just don't. If you measure high to high, each subsequent high that's been capped by this trend line, it's been like 75% shorter. It's 600 days, 150, 65, so 75% is like 1/3. Or 0.25 to 0.35. If it follows, continues this similar like exponential decay in terms of time, this move should happen within the next 30 days. Out of here, but it can be any time within. I actually kind of lean towards this breaking through against alts next week. Maybe you get an ETF announcement that's enough to push demand at the margins, like cause a breakout.
You can feel the change. Same room, but it don't hit the same. No pressure, no fuss. They know it's better with us.
So I think end of this month to start of November. By the end of November, December, it could be well above all-time highs.
You said this could be your last one. How you really trying to go? And you came with a
that one who can't stop checking her phone. Better yes.
Let's look at the lower time frames for on balance volume. We did have bullish divergence here. Wonder if we saw that in other alts. Yeah, we have in XRP. Not in ETH though. Not really in Cardano. Yeah, I think all alts are actually, I said others is going to send.
Heard it before, that place is the best, but the lights aren't all that they sound. Better with us.
Sweet. Alright. Aldo said 10 minutes.
Used to need a call back, used to need a sign. Used to watch the numbers.
Yeah, I would feel super nervous if I was holding Bitcoin here.
Now the quiet's peace, yeah, I sleep at night. Used to chase a maybe, used to beg a why. Used to see my worth in someone else's eyes.
Or holding some credit layer token. I don't know who's gonna bail all those people out. Yeah, exactly, Vincent. That's what I always do. I just think from first principles. What do I think the future looks like? Why do I think people will demand this? I'm not gonna bet on speculative hype and just greater fool theory. I think that's worked for a lot of people. And they've gotten lucky. But it's not a way like long term. It's just a unique part of the macro end of the macro cycle that we're in, where speculation runs rampant in everything. But I think if you do that consistently, you're gonna lose all your money eventually. The only people that won't are technical analysts that are just trading, but any person buying a narrative, buying a story in the crypto market, I think doesn't do so well. Maybe we will. Get this similar move that XRP had after we did kind of retest the lows here. So it's like very similar. Wonder if timing is similar to 90 days. Start from the break. It's a little bit shorter with Litecoin. It's about pretty similar though. I do think eventually Litecoin based on my fundamental understanding, and if demand for Bitcoin on the monetary side finally emerges, this is going to go to new all-time highs. Maybe during a bear market even. but I think the ratio will do extremely well over the coming decade. I've seen this structure a million times. Plus we have a 9. I'm gonna post this link now because Al's about to join.
You can cash out, fade out, wish me well. I don't care if I don't care when you sell. Seen them panic every headline, same show, same tell. Said it's over every week, then they watch it rise again. I don't pray for their belief, I just smile, exhale. Let the time do the talking while they run in bed. Cause I remember every doubt and surround sound. Now they play my tracks when the price rebound. Funny now they love what they laughed about. But I ain't bitter, I just turn it loud. I don't care if I don't care when you sell. I've been riding through the lows, no it's just another swell. You can cash out, fade out, wish me well. I don't care if I don't care when you sell. I ain't chasing bags, I'm building time. Turn conviction to a peace of mind. They trade emotions, I trade knives. For a future that I already ride. You can move on, you can lose faith, but I ain't breaking pace for a mood swing day. Been too long in the game to explain again. If you know, you know. If you don't, that's okay. I don't care if I don't care when you sell. Story's still mine to tell. Yeah. Still mine to tell.
Litecoin shorts on Bitfinex came down 33% today. Usually they've been pretty accurate.
They said I dream too loud, I said they think too small. I was building what they doubted, now they see it on the wall. Every scar became design, every loss became a line. I follow what's divine, don't beg, just align. Got receipts from every season that they swore I fell behind. Now the proof is here, see my way from the other side. It's already mine, I don't gotta fight.
Yeah, Vincent, if well, what's funny to me is, yeah, you eventually will get that negative reflexivity if speculators start leaving, because price will go down, and then it'll take longer to find blocks, and you should see people migrate during that time. Can create fee pressure. Eventually, though, just like monetary demand and people willing to pay the fees is going to have to support network activity or support hash rate. It's just going to be that alone. And I think if you have a huge price decline and bear market for like 5 years, Bitcoin just going sideways, a lot of people will migrate. During that period, the chain can actually be congested in a bear market as all these long-term holders just capitulate. Plus, you know, consistent difficulty adjustments downward. But yeah, confidence is gonna get totally destroyed. The bigger the bubble, the harder it is. I think all the billionaire people that bought Bitcoin, like Saylor, are gonna have to get, you know, forced out. And maybe that's gonna take a while. What's up, just me? How you doing? We're just waiting for Al. We're gonna talk to him for a bit. Wish you can get my YouTube notifications. Yeah, I don't know why that's not working. It's like a problem all the time. Like, oh no. Alright, I'm gonna pause the music for a sec. I think he should be here in a couple minutes. Yeah, just me. Still in range, not too much to be worried about, and I think this next week should be pretty telling. I think alts can reverse here. Litecoin's gonna reverse quickly to the highs, and finally we can break through, and it should be strong. I think relatively a lot stronger than all the altcoins. A lot stronger than the average altcoin. Nothing else is really that compressed. do or die levels. I don't think Litecoin will ever die. Well, it could, but I think you can get a lot of range manipulations and make people convinced of that, and then see it reverse shortly after. A lot of games that are played with investor psychology. Why is proof of work the future? Well, I don't know if it is for sure, but I know that it's the only, like, proof of stake isn't censorship resistant, because once you have sufficient stake, there's no way to boot out the censor. The market can't overcome it. So it's not, it's like easily captured. It's a political money. Proof of work, you know, if you're under attack and there's ongoing censorship, the market can overcome it by just adding more hash rate to the system. It might be illegal, but like the profit incentive for people to go mine high fee paying transactions that aren't getting confirmed would be the only way, or would be the way that you could actually boot out the censor, which is likely a government. It'd be interesting to see, because nobody would know it's ongoing. Right? It could just be happening in secret. It's the only way they know is their transactions aren't getting confirmed, so they just keep upping their fee until someone noticed it and thought the reward was worth going out and trying to mine those transactions. So we don't know what will happen, but we just know it's possible to overcome a state censor and challenge the state's monetary monopoly. There's no hope for proof of stake. There's just zero. And I think we're going to be in a macro environment where it's quite scary, dangerous, and people are being impoverished. That I think it's going to at least be tried. Like it sucks because the market does a terrible job of preparing for the future. It seems like it only knows things after the fact. It's like humans are wired to like not realize a banking collapse until after it's happened, not want to withdraw their money from a bank until they don't have the money anymore, right? Not withdraw from FTX until after it's bankrupt. So I wish people would think about it more seriously and not just be so attached to their bags that they say, oh, that will never happen. It's too popular. Because that's just like laziness. I don't think there's only a few in the world that understand that and are working on things that align with that future, like privacy tools and solutions for more decentralized, like mining pools and mining itself. Just I don't like that we're in this speculative environment for so long, because it's like a threat to long-term success. It's gonna make it so much harder for Bitcoin to succeed as a money. The longer you keep having these economy of scale kind of dynamics where large centralized entities just outcompete smaller, more decentralized ones. Yeah, for now we're still in this casino phase, and it'll end after this cycle completes, I think. Yeah, well, there needs to be a reason why they want privacy. People in Western countries don't really care too much because it hasn't cost them much. But like black markets exist around the world, and people really want privacy because the cost of not having it can be so extreme. What's up, Al?
Yo,
How's it going, sir?
I'm sorry, I was having technical difficulties. Good,
Oh,
and you? How are you?
doing pretty good. Let me add you to the um, room here real quick. I gotta add it
Sure.
in OBS.
Hmm.
This is going to be not super structured like
Sure.
Kyle's usually is. Um, so I hope you're okay with that. All right, sweet.
Yeah, I think we had this pending for a while, right?
Why is my... Yeah, we did. I don't know why my screen's now showing the wrong screen. One sec. Oh, I think it's showing your like computer screen for some reason and not your
Um,
camera. Do you have both of them connected in there? I'm seeing my stream screen.
your stream.
Oh, there it came up for a sec. Now I have you. Let me just resize it.
Okay.
And I never have my camera, so it's a little weird that I don't have a camera and you do. If you don't want to put it up there, it's fine, but if you do, that's cool too. Most people, I don't know, it's been like 50-50. Do you want me to add your camera in
Okay.
here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll just put it in the
Might as
corner
well.
in a small box so people can see you. Yeah, it's good to have you here. I mean, we've known each other like online for a long time, but never actually really talked that much outside of like X.
Yeah, I'm guessing what's it been? Maybe since like 2018 or something, probably, that we've
Yeah,
been like somewhat kind of messaging one another.
yeah, it's been I think so, 2018.
Probably it's
Yeah,
around there.
I
A lot.
a lot's happened since then. It's been pretty crazy. When did you get first involved? Was it in 2017 or in 2018?
Yeah, it was 2017. I think it was like May. So I think this was probably like right when Litecoin was at like $40 around there.
Oh yeah,
Right when that hype was was
coming
picking
in.
up.
Yeah, for sure.
H- How about you?
Like late 2016, but I didn't really buy that much. I just saw Bitcoin rallying because I had read about it a few times, and I don't know why I didn't look into it, but just saw it rallying like towards $1,000. I think it was like on the
Hmm.
move from 400 up that I really started paying attention. Um,
How did you actually first hear about Bitcoin? Like what was the first time that you were ever like, huh, what is this?
I heard about it a few times. Like the first time I remember, uh, and I don't know if this is like 100% true, but I was in a hotel room and on TV, I think it was 2013 or 2014, I saw some news headline about this guy. I think he was called like BTC King, but he's being arrested for some cryptocurrency thing. Uh, maybe I could find it. But that's my first memory. And then in college, I remember looking at the price chart in an economics class when it had like uh, it might have been before that. I think it was 2013, 2014. Um,
The
and
the
I did
BTC King incident.
well. I had two times where I noticed it. I don't remember why I was looking at the price chart in college, but I think I was bored in class,
Yeah.
searching around, and then I had heard about it previously, just a quick headline, but so it was like in the back of my mind, but I was so focused on other things, uh, like music at the time, that I
hmm
didn't care enough. So it took me a while. Um, but yeah,
That BTC King, that's not a very good first impression of Bitcoin, huh?
well, I don't know. I didn't even think much of it. I don't know if it was a bad impression or good impression. To me, I've never like when I looked back and first was getting involved in looked at the development of Bitcoin and Silk Road, I never thought, because I was always on kind of the libertarian side, that like people buying drugs or stuff or goods online was bad. So I've always been skeptical of, people being put in jail for these types of things. Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Yeah, it was just like a no impact. I just heard about it, kind of remember, and then finally decided to
Yeah,
look
it
more
seems
deeply into it. But yeah, how was your experience of
it's
getting
funny because
involved?
that your story is probably how most people I've spoken to first came to like realize what Bitcoin is. If at first it's like we kind of just like see it somewhere and kind of ignore it, and then little by little like we start seeing it more and more and start opening up to it more. So in my case, the first time I ever heard about it, um, so I was like really busy in school at the time, so I didn't really have much free time to like keep up with tech and everything going on. So it was I remember I opened up Facebook and some guy from high school
Mhm.
that I believe he was actually in jail for a few years and he came out of jail and then he made a post about Bitcoin and I mean because I saw it from him and I know what he had gone through I was like this is probably a scam
Mhm. Mhm.
and he was like the only person I remember actually talking about Bitcoin like on my social media feed. And but for some reason, because it was coming from him and I know what he had done, like I just didn't give it that much importance. But turns out that he was actually right.
Yeah.
This was like 2013, 2014, around there.
Mhm.
So so then in 2017, when I actually graduated and I had a lot more free time to see, that's when I started going down the crypto rabbit hole and came upon Litecoin. But it's funny because I remember going through so at the time Charlie Lee was like a like ridiculously famous in crypto, right? I mean, right now
Mhm.
he's a little more low key, but if you would go through like CoinDesk and Cointelegraph, like Charlie Lee was always like in the headlines somewhere.
Mhm.
And I remember he came up on my feed, and I think it was probably like a YouTube video or something, like an interview, and the comments were it was like so much FUD,
Mhm.
like Litecoin's not good, Litecoin's a scam, and all this, and then that's what made me want to research Litecoin more because Charlie Lee he made so much sense speaking and the way he would explain things was just like so minimalist I guess like so pure and it was the FUD is what made me want to research Litecoin more. I don't know how it
Gotcha.
was for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was just originally trying to understand like late 2016 how it worked. Uh,
hmm
and then the scaling debate stuff started like even back then. And so I was trying to gain an understanding of the technological side of Bitcoin to see how it worked. And once I felt like I was competent enough, then I started listening to like these debates on Bitcoin scaling because I'm like, what could this thing possibly be worth? There's like, millions of different uh, ideas out there, but I want to understand for myself, like given my worldview, what is this total addressable market of this cryptocurrency? So yeah, I listened to all these scaling debates, and I just disagreed with both the Lightning Network people, credit layer scaling, and the big block type scaling, because I knew that would be a threat, to its success long term if you couldn't afford to run a node and participate. And I knew from my economic finance background that definitely credit could not scale money. So I thought like, okay, Bitcoin's
Hmm.
open source, like you could just create another chain and alter a few parameters. I'm like, oh, Litecoin's already done that. And if
Hmm.
Bitcoin fee pressure rises, you're likely just to see the substitution. So I started talking about that like way back in when they were having these debates and reaching out to like Paul Stork and these people, and trying to find someone that agreed with me, and like literally zero people did. So I thought I was crazy at first, but over time, I just watched what I thought would happen actually happen, even though nobody agreed with me. And then I finally found one guy, uh, Eric Voskill, that I talked to him about it, and then he wrote it in his book. So I've been super confident that this is the way it will happen. It's just not a narrative at all yet. It's just within the Litecoin community. Uh, they kind of get it, but nobody nobody broadly does, it seems like. Um,
I think you wrote a few essays on this, right?
yeah,
In
I think I started
2018,
writing it
2019?
20, yeah, like a long time ago.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know where those went, but then I created the new account in 2021 to try to convince the Litecoin community of this story. Like, what was it perceived as its greatest weakness, and the Litecoin community always trying to market it as something else, was actually its greatest strength. Like the it's just a copy. Uh, the Litecoin community was trying to like argue around that, how it's different. I'm like, you should just accept that because it's actually the greatest strength, right? If the market finally realizes that Bitcoin doesn't scale this way through credit layers, it will, because if you think Bitcoin's like the best monetary asset, but it's unscalable, you'd want the thing that's closest to that, that has the highest network effects, doesn't compete in hash rate, this type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been trying to do for like 4 years, is explain that. Um, and what's crazy about Litecoin, I don't know if you have the same view, is that the narrative is the kind of the opposite of reality. So the divergence is so extreme between what the broad consensus view is versus what will likely happen if this monetary market develops. And that's why I think
Hmm.
you know even though it sucked to wait so long, the repricing potential is so crazy. What do you think about like this whole cycle of cryptocurrency speculation, and um, like what surprised you about how Litecoin's relatively underperformed, or how are you looking at like the last few years since 2022? Can you still hear me?
Okay, I can hear
Oh,
you now. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
oh, it's all good. I don't know where I cut out, but I was
Um,
just,
I think we were talking about the divergence.
oh yeah. It just seems crazy because we know this market isn't like highly driven by memes and narratives. Um, and Litecoin's people have thought it doesn't have a story, but it has the most compelling story, I think, if price, uh, starts rallying, and we get this backwards look at Litecoin from people who wrote it off, and they see the network activity and realize that it is the second Bitcoin chain. I think you can see like the speculative premium or store value premium shift. Um, but I was asking you like how you view this whole cycle since 2022. Like what surprised you? How do you think Litecoin's done? do you think it's um, you know, very odd that it's been the best performing fundamental on the fundamental side for proof of work chains, yet price hasn't increased? What are your general thoughts on what's happened?
I feel like the cycle started off really noisy, but these past 2 years I think are the ones where I feel like I've gained the most clarity in a sense. Like there's so much noise out there, and at this point it's extremely obvious how what basically like what the game plan is for all these other uh protocols like the XRPs, the Solanas, the Avalanches. Like it's literally just all a cycle where they grow, they die, and then they're just trying to create a new one to dump on their new crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I think that like Bitcoiners and Litecoiners were a little bit more afraid of like that narrative kind of picking up, like the DeFi ecosystem and all this stuff. But at this point, I think we're just gaining more confidence, especially as Litecoin usage continues to grow. Like, I mean, because you can't really argue against that, right? I mean, uh, BitPay, I mean, it's being you if Litecoin is actually being used in the real world, another protocol, you can't fake that, you know? Like, it's just I feel like Litecoin at this point, for me, it's just more of a multi-decade play. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this moves in cycles, right? Like supposedly every 4 years, but at this point, I'm starting to think about how we're really going to live our whole lives with Litecoin in it. Um, I mean, we're going to be 70 years old and Litecoin's still going to be uh, well and alive, right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and you can't really say the same for Solana, XRP, all these other
Yeah, who knows
protocols.
about those? Yeah, I would agree. I think
So
the community, like, I think this long drawn out consolidation has created a lot of conviction. And the people that have been here a long time see the hype, like pump and dump cycles, and uh, like what you're saying is kind of how I feel too. Like I don't feel FOMO. I don't feel like I missed out on anything. I, by watching other
yeah,
things pump. It's like the conviction has hardened in like the macro outlook that seems so distant so long ago. Where Litecoin and proof of work chains can do well, it seems a lot closer. So yeah, the 4 year cycle thing, I don't know. It's like I never really believed in the 4 year cycles or halving cycle theory. I eventually like that the whole cyclical behavior could end. I don't think it will, like especially if we get this super crazy breakout and speculation and hype in Litecoin, it will definitely crash again. Um, but if it didn't come, I think Litecoin dominance would just rise over time, and we'd see continued growth in the network activity side. So if we don't get a mega euphoric run, we could just have a slow, steady rise as adoption climbs. It could be like a counter trend. Uh, I don't think that's likely, but uh, yeah, I'm not that worried about the long-term future. Whereas if I was holding something that I thought was just dependent on attention or hype or someone else buying the bags higher price than me, I'd be super scared.
yeah,
Even Bitcoin. What do you think
yeah.
about Bitcoin right now? It seems I would be scared if I was holding it outside of like a short-term trading position or something for 3 to 6 months.
I mean, yeah, like in the short term, I mean, I can see it going up, but obviously it's probably not going to go as much as Litecoin. I mean, just if you just follow the 4 year cycle theory, but it does seem kind of heavy, right? I mean, all these ETFs, the treasury companies, I don't know. I just
There's
get
just so
bad
much.
vibes
Yeah,
when all these narratives are filling up.
Well, there's so much leverage outside
Yeah,
the traditional like exchange leverage in Bitcoin, probably more than ever with all the treasury companies, Michael Saylor's leverage, uh, you know, Coinbase and these exchanges offering Bitcoin-backed loans now, so they don't have to ever sell their Bitcoin. It seems more extreme than ever, and like the speculative premium above its monetary adoption has never been greater. So yeah, it's super scary because people like when we first were involved, were talking about network adoption, monetary network effects, right? That was a huge narrative and how Bitcoin would continue to dominate. Now the whole conversation is just about who's going to buy Bitcoin next, right? Which
yeah,
bigger money, and that's like ultimate bubble talk.
yeah. That's right now they mention that. That's probably the thing that worries me the most about Bitcoin is that how they have to constantly change the narrative as Bitcoin has evolved. And it really feels forced. Like the narrative feels extremely forced. Kind of like both Jacks, the Jack from Twitter and the Jack from Jack Dorsey. I mean, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
not Jack Dorsey. The
Jack
other Jack. What's
Mallers
his
and
name? Jack Mallers. Both of them just feel extremely forced whenever they're speaking about Bitcoin. Like Jack saying that it has to be used for Bitcoin. I mean, I'm sorry for transacting, but I mean they're just on the back end just moving digits.
yeah, it's
It's
just a
not
credit layer
actually on
thing.
on-chain Bitcoin. Kind of like what you were mentioning. It feels very forced, the adoption. And the other day, the guy from Swan was saying that Bitcoin is in fact private. It just feels like they just keep on trying to switch the narratives to make it seem like Bitcoin is somehow the perfect money.
Yeah,
But that's one of the main reasons why it does feel like Bitcoin in a sense. I mean, I don't think it's a complete bubble, but I mean, it might be kind of like close to top, but the easy solution is just Litecoin, right? I mean, what causes them so much difficulty just saying the L word, right?
I know it's weird.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. Financial bias and
Yeah.
like holdings affect people like almost as much as religion. It's odd. Um, like I don't care if people talk bad about like when because it's so socially like normal now. But the Bitcoin holders can't even mention the word or mention competition. So I don't know. It's mass delusion, I think. Uh,
Yeah.
but we'll we'll see how they pivot. I don't know. I think all these entrenched Bitcoin influencers aren't going to have much of an audience long term. I don't know how you, right? If Litecoin does succeed in that Bitcoin only, uniqueness, one chain, Michael Saylor type narrative dies, I think it eventually will because the market will force that. I don't know how they come back. And so there's such a huge opportunity for people, assuming this is correct, uh, who are speaking the truth because you should see a giant increase in credibility and there's almost no one on that side. Almost everyone's participating in the casino and pumping their own bags. How do you see that? How do you see like the 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 influencer space around crypto going over the next like few years, assuming that Bitcoin loses this uniqueness narrative?
Uh, to touch on your previous point, so the Bitcoin feeling kind of heavy uh point we're talking about. So I mean, right now Bitcoin's what, like around 110K or something like that. So you can already tell that it's really difficult to move right now, right? So I think all these Bitcoiners were complaining a few weeks ago about the markets being manipulated, that there's paper Bitcoin and all of this because the price is just not
Yeah,
moving, right? and this is barely Bitcoin at 110K, 120K. So what's going to happen in a couple of years when Bitcoin's at, say it's trading at a million, or say it's at 2 million? How difficult is it going to be to move Bitcoin once Bitcoin has reached that point? And I think eventually there's going to be a tilting point where it's going to just be like so difficult to move compared to how it is now or how it was 4 years ago, that eventually people are going to be saying, okay, you know what, we have to seek the new opportunity, and it's going to be Litecoin.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
a lot of us thought it was going to be this cycle. Maybe it still is, we don't know, but I think eventually it'll get to that point because, like you say, it is the second Bitcoin chain, and follow has all the same properties as Bitcoin pretty much. Like, it's, in my opinion, it's, if a Bitcoin maximalist were to say, I'm gonna own a second cryptocurrency, like the least controversial would probably be Litecoin.
No, for sure.
Like,
Especially if price
just
starts breaking out, they will capitulate. That's just natural how
yeah,
monetary markets should evolve. Is the monetary premium starts on the first chain, and what's so unique about Bitcoin, unlike any other money in history, is that it doesn't scale like vertically. That's why I think it's
yeah,
so hard to see. But once the market does see that, maybe we never get to the point where demand is high enough to where that happens. But if we enter the scenario that a lot of the Bitcoiners imagine, it seems inevitable. It's just, and to comment on your first point about, the comments of manipulation, that's so crazy because Bitcoin's rallied from 13K to 100K, 100K
yeah,
plus, and they're complaining. Like, I can't imagine what they're gonna do if Bitcoin, trades back at like 30, 20K and goes sideways for years. Because I think if we get a blow off, this is the first macro bear market Bitcoin will ever experience. Like, it's really had these short 2-year bear markets where equities have gone through these reinflationary cycles. But if we get a true like
yeah,
recession, um, I don't see how there's that much speculative demand. Again, it takes so much money to move, and I think the amount of people that will capitulate because they're already complaining right now will be so overwhelming that it's going to be really hard. Like, the only solution to me is monetary adoption just, increases so much that it pushes up the price, but we're so far uh, away
yeah.
that.
I, I don't really know too much about macro, and like I don't really follow too much about like the interest rates, all that stuff going on with the debt and everything. But what do you think about these theories that supposedly the market will actually rally leading to the midterm elections? Like once
Uh,
Trump actually gets his Fed chair in and everything, some people think that it's going to be a delayed cycle leading to the midterm elections.
I don't know. I think there's only so much manipulation power governments have over markets. I do think uh, the markets will peak on peak future expectation of liquidity, not actually like when it happens. The market
Mm-hmm.
generally prices stuff in beforehand. Um, but yeah, I would expect that. I don't know. Midterm cycles are usually bullish, right? Because it's that happened in 2019. Um, I think, right? We had
I,
that rally in Bitcoin, but I don't put too much weight on those types of correlations because the 4-year cycle thing, uh, probably I think it's probably not going to play out. Uh, it's definitely been already, uh, less talked about. What's interesting to me about 4-year cycles is they didn't exist until this cycle. The mainstream narrative of them. If they did exist
yeah.
last cycle, everyone would have sold in November. Like when I think I was one of the few that was talking about bear market back then. But it's funny to me how the mainstream consensus narrative has talked about 4-year cycles as soon as they're not gonna exist anymore. Because they didn't exist in 2017 or 2021. Really, do you remember? Were people talking about 4-year cycles at the peak in November of 21?
Yeah, I feel like I do remember that people were saying it was the 4 year, but I think most people got the top wrong. Like they thought it was going to be it was going to keep on rallying, and it just got cut short, especially for Litecoin. But I think we peaked like in May, I think it was,
Yeah.
and others peaked like in December.
I
Was
think I
yeah, it
remember
felt like
commenting on one of your posts in May of 21 and being like, because everyone was celebrating like the huge on-chain volume. Do you remember that? It was like May of 21 where there's a huge spike in Litecoin on-chain volume.
I don't remember, but I don't doubt it that we were all
And I was
celebrating.
like scared because I'm like, oh, uh, this seems like really bearish because it could just be coins moving to exchanges.
Yeah,
Ended up being the truth. It's so hard to call the tops in these things, and everyone was
but
convinced in 2021 because 2017 was like 12 months of bull market, and it seemed like Litecoin started October 2020 and it was only 6 months. So they're like, wait, it can't be just a 6-month rally. It has to
yeah,
be higher.
I think the main constant has been that most people when most people say it's gonna peak during a certain quarter, it never peaks during that quarter. Like right now, it feels like everyone's saying it's gonna peak right now, Q4. But it worries me that so many people are saying it in alignment that most likely it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know what you
it's so
think.
hard for me to get interpretations on sentiment because there's almost no participation like we've seen in 2017 and 2021, like broadly. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
new money coming in. So I think it
yeah,
goes into spring of next year, and I think eventually, given like everyone's sad right now that like gold is rallying, silver's rallying, stocks are massively outperforming and crypto's not, and so they assume that it's just going to underperform. There's no interest. I actually look at that as bullish because profit taking is going to happen, and people are going to look for things that haven't rallied yet, and it just doesn't take much money uh, to move
yeah.
crypto. But
I think
sentiment's weird. What's your take on sentiment right now? You think everyone thinks that Q4 is the top?
um I think my idea at the moment has been kind of just to see how things are going, because I mean I keep up with some analysts, but I only like follow them like loosely, like just to have an idea to see what people are thinking. And it seems kind of half and half, like some Q4, others that's going to be up the next 2 years. And my game plan has just been kind of like just go with the flow and analyze things on a monthly basis, see what's happening. And right now, with this whole liquidity flush that there was this past week, I mean, it can recover, but I don't know if we're really going to get like that full blown uh, typical spike like we do at the end of the cycles. But there was the other day I heard an interview by Stephen McClurg, and I think he has a good point that this cycle is really different because it feels like people, like retail in general, they're not really spending too much right now. Like a lot of people's financial situations are really tight. Like if you go out in public, like restaurants they're not as packed as they were a few months ago. People aren't traveling as much. People are trying to save, but who knows? Because what you were talking about right now, also from the gold and silver spike, is I think this also happened. If I'm not mistaken, I think it happened at the beginning of the year where gold and silver were rallying and taking up all the attention, and then crypto was next to pump.
Yeah,
And it
I think the liquidity, like the massive liquidation of 10 times like the FTX liquidation makes me think prices go way higher than I thought. So I got into the opposite interpretation uh, because That to me is like max pain scenario for a lot of these people that were positioned for so long for alt season, and then so many people got liquidated and lost all their money just before it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you have a lot of fuel for hire, and people will be just rage buying. I know if sentiment kind of destroyed, but we have really high volume and decent spot buying here, like at the lows, much more significant than any previous like liquidation event or correction. I actually think this can reverse pretty sharply, and then sentiment will just totally flip uh, because it's always driven by price. So crypto has such a short-term memory that if it does reverse and we've liquidated all the longs and there's just spot buyer absorption, I don't know. It's like if you're only focused on crypto, then you have one interpretation of like the macro situation, but if you look at everything else, it's like, well, obviously there's a shit ton of money out there. If gold can move multiples of Bitcoin's market cap in a month or a couple months, just given the relative size of the cryptocurrency market, I think we can still get a vertical type move, but we'll see. Nobody knows for
Yeah,
sure.
I have no idea how that's possible for price to just go down like 50% instantly. Like what's the science behind that? I don't know how that
Well,
happens.
I think
I don't think yeah.
there's just this there's like fragmentation across so many altcoins, so I think like order books are thinner because bids are placed across so many altcoins. We've never had more altcoins than today, practically. Uh, and we've had the rise of all these perp dex exchanges and all this advertising of, hey, you need to trade on leverage. Uh, that, when we had negative news event, uh, people had all this cross-margined collateral where even if they were hedged, they got liquidated. I read stories about people that were like short 3x Bitcoin and long something else, so that their portfolios were hedged for
Okay.
downside,
Mm-hmm.
but because of auto deleveraging, they were like forced closed out of their short position, and then their longs just got liquidated, so their whole account, all their coins were forced sold.
It's
Uh,
insane.
yeah, it is insane. It is pretty crazy that on such a small news catalyst, we could see a bigger liquidation event than FTX by an order of magnitude. It's baffling, but it also shows, like, to me, it's a warning sign because, like, from my perspective, this market is a casino in a giant bubble. And there's not that much underlying fundamental demand for most of these tokens, like hardly any. And so they can crash to really low. I think
Mm-hmm.
if we had like global downturn, like a real recession, not like one that's recovered in 2 years, a lot of these things are going to zero. We've never had a true flush of crypto. We've just had reinflation, people buying the dips. What if retail has no money? We have some type of financial crisis or uh,
Mm-hmm.
greater recession. The only thing that can support the price is, the underlying fundamental utility, which
Yeah.
is totally ignored now by almost everyone because the market's trained them to do that over time. But it's going to matter. I know for sure. Like, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I always think about this from the end consumer level. Like, why is someone going to demand this as money or demand this,
Yeah.
token into the future? And if there is no convincing, compelling case for that, even if the chart looks bullish, I can't justify buying it. And again, this just ties back to the conviction, I guess you and I both kind of share because we see it's the only proof of work chain that's grown in monetary demand that seems sticky.
Yeah. What do you think about the ETFs coming up?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious as to your thoughts because it's been interesting to watch this play out. Litecoin was one of the first that was supposed to be approved, and then they changed the rules like a week before that was supposed to get approval. Now they just approved a Solana ETF, even though it's like a kind of a later issued coin that's been rallying on hype. What do you think about the whole ETF space? Do you think there's people like paying regulators to get their coins passed through or to change the rules last minute? How do you view this whole ETF
I'm not
situation?
sure. I'm really not sure what's going on, but I mean, I can just assume that they just have a lot of lobbying power. All these coin associations and whoever pays them to talk to politicians. Um, but I guess that the end game is still the same, right?
Yeah,
It's all gonna be about Litecoin just continuing to do its thing, and all these other coins, they're still, at the end of the day, they're still pump and dumps with a dev team, founder team, all just looking to capitalize on their retail crowd
yeah,
and jumping
exactly.
onto the next thing. And Litecoin's still gonna keep on pumping block after block.
Y-
But I mean, I think in general, once the ETFs are approved, I think it's gonna be net positive. And I mean, for Litecoin, and yeah, it goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier, how this is just the beginning of something that's going to last for decades to come, right? Like family offices buying Litecoin, or gaining exposure to Litecoin at least, and just the history behind Litecoin and its reliability. I think traditional finance is going to want to seek that out. I mean, they're not going to buy like a Pepe coin or green dildo coin, right? I mean,
yeah,
they're they're gonna want to seek out reliable solutions, and that's Litecoin.
yeah. Right now we have like a bunch of degen hedge funds and super risky types of money in crypto and like retail casino gambling crowd. But eventually it will develop better valuation frameworks. That's what I've been waiting forever for. It seems like the market's not doing that. But eventually, yeah, if people are going to take it seriously, they will. They will care about monetary network effects, potential future growth, and look at this in a different way than just casino rotation. It flows into Bitcoin because inflation, and then flows into ETH, and then altcoins. It's like that's so dumb to me, right? People
Yeah,
just buy it based on historical trends, not knowing what the underlying fundamental driver of demand is. It's just a giant liquidity rotation game. That will end, like for sure. But yeah, it's
what do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean by the value model thing that you mentioned? That you think it's
well, like
gonna?
just look at
Uh-huh.
equities, right? They have lots of metrics that they use to value companies. Um, you can look at I don't know price earnings multiples, earnings per share. You can separate it into like tech growth stocks versus value stocks. You can come up with a framework uh, that justifies a certain price. And in crypto, we don't really have that. We have mostly like macro hedge funds that are treating Bitcoin as a gold or gold 2.0 asset,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking at
Yeah.
inflation data and just correlating that with the rise of Bitcoin because it's historically been positively correlated. But we don't have like an understanding of the fundamental value prop, the like valuation frameworks based on real economic activity, not just on-chain metrics that track whales buying versus selling, or all these different ratios that just really track speculative adoption. We don't have a very good broad understanding of what the point of Bitcoin is and what market it's actually going to compete in. Because right now I just see like Michael Saylor and Jack Mallers saying, "Oh, real estate's 100 trillion, global equity, it's like somehow going to compete for every asset class in the world," rather than just narrowing it down to, Bitcoin competes as a money in the monetary market,
Yeah.
and Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet, and it's been like a decade. So I think eventually we will. People
Yeah.
will have to know that. But the ETF stuff is pretty exciting because Litecoin's the lowest market cap coin to get an ETF, and I think for that demographic, it's going to be more attractive than a lot of the other ETFs being pushed, even if it's not marketed well, and it just takes very little inflows at the margins to move price. Uh, so even if Litecoin underperforms in inflows against Solana XRP, like by 10x, it can still move higher in percentage terms, and that will finally give Litecoin some marketing, because price is the best marketing. So
Oh yeah.
we'll see. I'm hoping I can achieve the network effects of this stream so that we can tell people the truth about what it is. Because even did you read any of the Fidelity like Litecoin reports or some of these other institutional reports on Litecoin?
I haven't read too much, no.
Oh, okay. I was always
I
disappointed.
yeah, I think someone told me that they made like some false claim, and to me that was like all I had to know to not read the full report. I was like, who do they have hiring to write these things? Like, yeah, what did it say? I forgot.
Well, it seemed like it just was someone Googling like stuff about Litecoin. From
Okay.
like it was like a lot of old recycled 2017 narratives like it's a test net for Bitcoin upgrades. Um, I can't remember. I could pull it up, but it was also showing like it
Uh,
competing against stable coins or something as a payment network when really it's just a money like Bitcoin. So that's what I mean about like valuation frameworks. They're comparing like credit layer networks, like Lightning Network to Litecoin. Um, so yeah,
I think they also made something about orphan blocks like one of their
oh
main
yeah,
talking points, right? Like it's like what the hell?
like find an example of when
Like
that's ever
it's
happened.
rare. I know it's
Has it
rare.
even happened in the last 10 years? I've never heard of a single
I don't know.
instance. Um,
I don't know, but if it has, it's rare.
yeah, and it would likely get
So
less rare over time because bandwidth constantly improves. So
yeah,
you're gonna have stronger connections, faster speeds, and so if you should have less odds of orphan blocks, right?
it's so weird how an institution that big with so much money, it's so difficult for them to reach out to someone from the Litecoin community, right? Like whether it be you, whether it be the foundation, like why is it so difficult for them to just form some sort of communication so that they can also sell the product to
Yeah,
their
I know.
clients more efficiently, right? Like
Well, I
it doesn't
think
make any sense.
nobody's doing primary research anymore. They're all um, selling a story someone else wants them to sell. So like even for Bitcoin, I think it's super silly. They want to pump their bag, so they're trying to just market it to the public as best as
Hmm.
possible. And I think a lot of the Bitcoiners will, who have influence over these institutions, will tell them what they should write about Litecoin or write about other coins. There's too much bias in trying to sell
Yeah, not
untruths.
enough people doing their due diligence and actually putting the work into research.
Yeah, for sure. Um, sorry, I was
You're all
grabbing
good.
something. What what have you been like? Uh, I know you were in California for a while. Are you still out there?
Yeah, I'm still here,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Did you?
But
Is it
yeah,
getting worse out there?
I think so. I live in an area that there's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of cars around here. Like it's pretty centric, and the amount of homeless that there's been has been insane. Like in the past 4 months, my wife got assaulted. She got sucker punched from behind while she was just walking with her headphones. Some man assaulted my dog with his cane, like just like walking casually, and I curbed my dog, and the guy tried reached out with his cane to hit it. Like the
Really?
amount of mental illness is insane, and like driving to your gym and seeing the parking lot just completely filled with tents from like one day to the next. It's crazy. Um, I
That is,
tell my wife every week that I want to move out, but unfortunately my job is tied here. But yeah, I want to leave. I wish I
yeah,
could leave.
dang. That's,
Yeah.
that is crazy. I was there like a year and a half ago, and I was just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get in my car because I was staying at a hotel. But I had to park like a few blocks down the street because it's so crowded. And there's this like homeless guy, I think he was homeless, waiting for me, and he tried to attack me. I had to get in the passenger side and quickly lock the door, and he was like almost broke the glass. Like started the car really fast and drove off. But like waiting to jump me and try to steal stuff from me when I was just
It's
walking my car
crazy.
at like 8 in the morning. But I'm
Yeah.
in New York City right now, and I don't see that much at all.
No?
There's a few, but it's not like everywhere.
How
It
have you
seems
been liking New York?
I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's a nice if you're in like a decent neighborhood. Um, it's pretty nice. I think it would get a little crazy if economic conditions worsen. Uh, I think all major metropolitan areas would be less
Mm-hmm.
safe and uh, dangerous. But for now, it's good. I like it. I always wanted to come here since I was like a little kid, so I'll enjoy it for a while.
How do you compare it to previous places you've been?
I don't know. I grew up in Wyoming, then I was in Denver for a while. Denver's super nice because you have a lot of outdoor stuff. It's pretty safe, relatively clean, except for downtown. And then I was in Puerto Rico for a bit. So they've all been, you know, quite different. Uh, but yeah, just pros
It's
and
like
cons.
every kind of weather.
Oh yeah, I know.
Tropical, humid, cold,
Yeah,
snow.
cold, snow, dry in Wyoming, and then yes, the total opposite in Puerto Rico. And New York's pretty moderate. You get all the seasons.
You get
I was
coffee
hoping.
shops.
Oh yeah, I was hoping to have like a Litecoin meetup if we have a break of all-time highs, or have the rally that I think has been coming and overdue for a while. It'd be cool. Would you be down
Yeah,
to?
yeah, but I need to find any excuse to go to New York.
Okay,
It's been a long time. But
yeah.
yeah, I think there's a lot of Litecoiners over there, right? Like
There was
New
a guy
Jersey.
that
I mean,
met up with me. He wanted to like be on the stream when I was doing IRL stuff. And there's quite a few people, I think, around here.
hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people like
And
in
these,
East Coast side, like Pennsylvania, New York. John
yeah,
is up here. He's like in like 50 minutes away in Connecticut. John is.
um, yeah, yeah. Have you seen a lot of crypto stuff in New York City?
Yeah, a ton
Like
of
walking around,
Ripple
like
ads everywhere. Um, and Gemini
Ripple
ads.
ads? No
Yeah, there's
way.
Ripple ads
Seriously?
everywhere, like on every taxi.
No way.
Yeah, I took pictures.
That's
So
insane.
yeah, you have to imagine who's funding that. It's really just the money they printed,
That's
right?
crazy.
They must have spent so much money on political lobbying and advertising. Um,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it on like the Times Square billboards, but I see it every day on taxi cabs with the little, like neon signs on the top.
That's insane. I would never have imagined that.
Yeah, well, I
What
I,
about in the subway?
I only see ads for I've seen ads for Gemini because I
Okay.
think they were like based out of here. I see those at Times Square. It's like buy Bitcoin used on Gemini uh, neon ads. But other than
Hmm.
that, there's not been much crypto talk. I think if we rally, we'll see that resurge. But
Yeah.
nobody in like the real world outside of the people that have been paying attention are really that excited.
Hmm.
Even with Bitcoin at 110K and when we rallied, it seemed like this was the first time Bitcoin broke all-time highs and broke a significant psychological number, like 6 figures, where we had no euphoria, like nobody cared. Just Michael Saylor having his Bitcoin billionaire party on his
Yeah.
yacht.
Oh man.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see. Do you see any crypto related stuff in your real life right now? Like outside where you're at in California, or like what are your family and friends that know you're involved been saying?
Nothing at all. I see absolutely nothing. Um, the people who I've told about crypto, they hardly ever bring it up. And I've noticed that they when they do bring it up, it's usually like a local market top. When everyone's talking
Yeah.
about it, it's when it's at a peak somewhere, unfortunately. But um, yeah, I guess my brother, he's been trading options with ETF companies, but that's about it. Um, no, unfortunately, hardly any talk about it, and it goes hand in hand with everything we've been saying that it's very early,
Yeah,
really early.
I think we're super late in the speculative game for a lot of things in the casino, but very early for like the monetary adoption phase.
Yeah,
Because what Litecoin's like right now like $6-7 billion asset in the total addressable market if it can compete with state money for all proof of work currencies is some significant portion of that. I don't know, 20-30%. So 20-30 trillion dollar potential slice of market a $7 billion asset today can grab. It's enormous. So yeah, super early in some ways, super late
well,
in others.
what in the markets, what do you think influences prices more? So say like we're reaching the end of a cycle. Do you think it's more like hedge funds, institutions that fund the rally, or do you think it's more so retail? Like which one do you think is more influential, I guess?
Well, I think it's changed throughout every cycle. Uh, I think primarily it's been larger money that was comfortable with Bitcoin that's driven the price. Some retail people, but I think it's mainly been a transition. Like if you look at net inflows, it's been ETFs and institutions and those corporate treasuries that have bought most of the Bitcoin and driven the price. Um, but last cycle, I think it was a ton of retail buyers from their, like COVID stimulus and unemployment benefits,
Yeah.
plus, Tesla and Michael Saylor. The dynamics keep changing, but I remember I wrote out something in 2017 or 2018 of what I thought would happen, and it's kind of playing. I thought that institutions like small nation states would buy the top of this final like speculative cycle. Early on, it was driven by like people who had a pretty good like either libertarians or people who wanted to use it for darknet marketplace purchases. But it was like very niche to the libertarian type community or the cryptography community. And then in 2017, it changed from like a lot of poker players, traders, like super risky hedge funds that wanted to trade the volatility got involved in crypto once
Mm.
the casino rails started being developed, like Coinbase, Binance, it's when those were launched. But before it was like super hard to buy Bitcoin. But once it became easier and they developed these exchanges where, the trading was similar to trading equities, it attracted a lot of
Mm.
money that wanted to trade these tokens in retail, I think mainly caused that, parabolic rise. And now nobody's interested in Bitcoin except nation states and institutions at this price level, and I guess traders. But I think what's going to drive Litecoin is a combination of all of that. I think if we can start getting price momentum, uniquely Litecoin, I think it's more interesting to the institutional crowd and older demographics who have most of the money. Um, and I think there is still a significant amount of organic network activity on Bitcoin that could potentially migrate, that could drive price. And then I think, if we break out, demand increases exponentially with price. So a lot of retail people will join, and there's a lot of money within crypto that I think is misallocated that can rotate from people that were holding XRP or that bought it on the rise, people that had been holding Cardano, or a lot of these other hyped chains can drive Litecoin price a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, on all the pair charts, I know I don't take technical analysis super seriously, but they all are reaching this point of like max compression, where we've been in this narrowing like wedge type pattern, where even though we had this major sell-off and that usually reversed Litecoin's gains against the rest of the market, it's kind of holding up now. Same thing against aggregate altcoin market index. Each rally is subsequently like shorter in time and price, but we're nearing a point of like max volatility compression. So I think Litecoin's about to full send against the rest of the market in the next couple months. It's really the only asset that hasn't pumped, that has a compelling fundamental story. Everything else that's getting an ETF, like Solana and XRP, already had major runs, and we're kind of seeing like a rotation to proof of work chains. Have you noticed that? Right, like Dash, Zcash, Digibyte. Some of these things
Yeah.
are seeing pumps.
The amount of talk that there's been in regards to Zcash the past month has been insane.
Yeah, it seems coordinated to
Um,
me. What do you think?
yeah, it's probably coordinated, especially with it. It's just weird how all these VCs at the same time they're all talking about it. But I think it's slightly better that the attention be on Zcash compared to Solana or AVAX and all that stuff, because at least it's supposedly a currency and privacy focus and all that, right? So at least it's going to bring some retail light onto the privacy sector, which I think at the end of the day benefits Litecoin. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think it's good that more talk about proof of work. And did you see the Elon tweet the other day too? I think that was
No, I
his
didn't.
first comment on that. He said that energy is required for money. And I think that's like his clearest statement on the whole on the topic about. I mean, it was like indirectly advocating for proof of work, and kind of puts a lot of the theories to rest that he's been favoring proof of stake. So I'm glad at least that was as pretty much as clear as it gets.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Um, but that's interesting. Maybe he always talks about things that become socially or culturally relevant. So maybe he'll comment on
Hmm.
Litecoin if we get a breakout. I don't really believe the idea that because he was talking about Dogecoin long before it moved. Uh, they
Yeah.
can have impact because they have such large followings. Um, but I don't know if Litecoin starts moving and then he tweets about it and they attribute the rise to him.
That'll suck.
That'll be annoying.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I'm gonna have to sign off in
oh,
like
okay.
5 minutes ish.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
just
Sorry.
just
This
a heads up.
Yeah. This is
No,
super
no, no, you're all good. You're all
informal.
good.
What what uh what have you learned like over the time since you've been in this space? Like, what do you think has been most important for you? And
The most important for
or like,
me,
what have you learned just being involved this long inside the crypto space, and like how have you developed, or what things have you taken away, even despite like maybe holding conviction in an asset that didn't do that well? Like, has that taught you anything about markets in general, or what do you take away from your experience?
probably my biggest takeaways is the power of emotions and how easy it is to get caught up in emotions, and at the same time how dangerous it can be just trusting emotions. Because I mean, you see it like when price is going up, how it feels like you get this euphoria, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
feels like everything's unstoppable, and nothing's gonna stop this party and everything. And even like in the darkest moments too, like when everyone's really sad, depressed, ends up being the best time to buy, right? So I think out of everything, that's kind of the thing that I've learned the most is kind of stick to the end, the main plan, which is that Litecoin just keeps on pumping block after block. It's reliable. It's functioning as money every day, regardless of the public's emotions, and kind of just keeping that internal focus over time. That trust your gut, like what you've been preaching this whole time as well,
Mm-hmm.
and just follow that internal light and trying to refuse to falling for everything that you see on Twitter trying to pull you in every direction, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's important. I've never met anyone that's like been a super successful investor or speculator by following someone else. So that's a good
Yeah.
point. Like, trust your own instinct, and you can't be mad at anyone. You don't have anyone to blame if you're wrong. So it's best. Those are wise words of advice. I'll let you go. Thanks for jumping on here for a bit.
Uh,
Again,
Thank you for having me.
I wish I had better questions, but it was good to at least talk to you for a bit
No,
and
this was
interact.
awesome, and yeah, I know we had this pending for a while, but yeah, I hope to meet you in real life one day.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully, New York trip sometime.
that'd be sweet. You should. I seriously will do it if price is above all-time highs. That I will do that, and it'll depend on how many people want to go. So, but we'll figure out something to do.
We're gonna have to pull John into New York City.
Oh yeah, he
We can
doesn't
do a
like it
little.
a ton, but he'll be fine. He'll come. He'll be excited when price he gets excited when price goes up too. So I'm sure we can convince him.
He
Maybe
can bring his
Charlie too.
guitar. John needs to bring his guitar, and we need to do sing-alongs.
Oh yeah, I could. I need a piano. I'd play the piano. We
Yeah.
can do it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Well,
Thank you, man.
yeah. Thanks. Have a good night. I appreciate it.
Good talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.
All right, guys. It's cool to have Al on here. He's been here for a long time.
Used to watch the numbers just to feel alive. Used to think the silence when I wasn't right. Now the quiet's peace, yeah, I sleep at night. Used to chase a maybe, used to beg a why.
I know there are a lot of people out there. It's weird. in crypto because we have so many. I feel like we have exposure to the most degen part of the population, but I think the majority still, in order to buy something, has to have some fundamental understanding of it first. And there's a lot of people within this community that represent that. Like, it's on Twitter, you'd think that fundamentals don't matter at all and it's all just trading charts. But I don't think that's representative of the population at all. Oh, thanks. Bitcoin based on energy. Yeah. I don't really like Elon's definitions of money that I've seen him talk about. It's just a database. I mean, you can argue the US dollar is defended by energy too, right? There's a lot of defense spending and enforcement costs to protect a monetary monopoly. Right? It costs energy to hire people to go enforce counterfeit laws, to defend their monetary power with military forces. But I don't agree with the idea that energy is what gives it value. It's almost like the labor theory of value. If you expend energy into something, it's therefore worth something. It's not. It's so 1,000 Litecoin retire you? I don't know. It depends on your cost of living, what the price is. Where's Master? I don't know. I haven't seen him today. Alright, I think Bitcoin's gonna go sideways here for the weekend, like it does most weekends. What up, Eli? Litecoin's looking sad. Don't be sad. I think it'll be okay. Focus on the relative strength. I think we either double bottom at the lows or the bottom's in. And next week we rally. We hit the bottom where it's going to zero. I can see a lot of coins going to zero over a long time frame. Thanks, Lance. I appreciate that. Well, like, I wrote this book and I was going to release it. And then I still am going to later. But I wanted to make videos on some of the topics I talked about. Thanks. I appreciate that. Not many people watched them. I could have done a better job. I just recorded them all in one take. And they were like 20 minutes. Sometimes I don't like polishing things. I just want to do it once the best I can. I do need to work on my videos tonight.
Energy proportional pressure to the square. Silence got density. You can feel it in the
Oh, am I gonna make educational videos on MWeb?
every quiet candle just compounding the sound. 8-year coil, no
I don't know. I thought I was gonna do that, but then I never did. I'm not as familiar with MWeb. Like, I feel like David's done a good job of already explaining it. Watch LTC Gold. I'm probably in a giant downward channel. Yeah, this is intense. Major wedge. I don't. To me, it's hard to make sense of like two different. I think these types of charts, like correlation or pair charts, are less interesting to me than internal cryptocurrency pairs because liquidity can flow really quickly from other cryptocurrencies. But I don't know, maybe it's meaningful.
Fee curves rise. Pressure make pilgrims cost too high. They look for the rhythm. Congestion, the preacher. Scarcity, the song. Every chain of command. Learn to stay calm. They drift toward frictionless fate. Cheaper blocks, faster grace. I seen wallets walk like rivers downstream. Liquidity, find freedom through broken dreams. Flows move where friction decline. Users chase peace, not the headline. Migration ain't hype, it's design. You can feel the current cross the
Moon. LTC gold to the moon.
Faithful migrate, gas fees gatekeep, they exit create. Markets just water, remembering it's slow. Utility to gravity, narrative the road. I don't force motion.
Watch the RSI. Oh,
Ghost chain current, silent uplift.
I never use RSI.
The economy evolve like the tide
RSI is like the most popular indicator.
Flows move where friction decline. Users chase peace, not the headline.
No bullish divergence here.
You can feel the current cross the line. Fee pressure bursts movement. Liquidity don't die. It redistributes. Still water runs silver. Old rails fade. New ones deliver.
I don't think anything is likely to happen over the weekend here. What I said, I thought price would go sideways and sentiment's gonna turn bearish again. Potentially retest the lows and then rally next week. This to me looks way more like a bottoming structure than oh, this looks really healthy to me. And that initial liquidation might retrace some of it. I think we're in a good place. But I'm gonna log off now, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Supply exhausted, belief the new mint. Narrative liquid, I bottle the print. Every bar collateral, value implied. Vol curve flat, but conviction applied. Liquidity chase,
I don't know.
Mars and heat. Speculators talk, faith algorithms tweet. I price emotion and implied demand. The crowd by the myth for the
Before we had our largest rally against alts, it did look very similar to this before it rallied hard. Right, we had that. The pre-halving rally. I think the parabolic trend started, retraced a little bit, and then went straight vertical. So the market can recover pretty quickly. Next week should be interesting for Litecoin. Every day that's gone on has been more convincing to me, right? That we're going to have a pretty sharp recovery. We haven't seen much leverage longs come in. We're seeing negative funding rates. Open interest is like down below 1 million contracts. That's crazy. From the highs, it's down like 65%. Which is baseline levels. Like we're at levels we were back before this rally even started. So complete reset. Well, spot volume is like pretty high. This is the highest volume we've had on a retracement. And notice like the volume declines sharply on all these retracements and then only goes up. Probably the same with here. And it looks like a clear breakout with sustained volume. So if we're getting a lot of absorption at the lows, this is kind of the final dip. I don't think there's that much supply that's going to be suddenly waiting above if price reverses, and that's why it can reverse so strongly, because once all the capitulation sellers who are reacting to price action, feeling bearish and getting out, you're just not going to have any sellers on the way up. So that's why well, this is naturally why these patterns play out. You get compression. Eventually just run out of buyers or sellers. In this case, probably sellers. And it's going to be weird because we've compressed so tightly and we've gone sideways for so long that there's not much. I don't think there's that many coins out there relative to the potential demand, right? If we get an ETF, they're just going to be forced to buy into this like air pocket of liquidity. It doesn't even take that much money to move it back to all-time highs. And then it just can really run away.
Patience was code. Belief was bandwidth. You just didn't have
Especially if we get the migration. Yeah, I can wait for the daily close. I kind of feel like markets close on the CME. That's how I'd take Fridays. I think, you know, when US markets actually close, I treat that as the official Bitcoin weekly close, because so often price retraces whatever move happens over the weekend. I hope we come down over the weekend and people get bearish on a weekend move, you know, slightly, and then recover Sunday night.
USD, BTCR, triple mirror line, fractals in agreement, same slope, same sign, covariance zero, but the rhythm in sync. 3 data sets, some in the same instinct. Reflections don't lie, they converge on the cause. Market just an echo of the natural laws. Symmetry divine, call it network.
Looking like Zcash chart, yeah. I think the I kept talking about it yesterday and the day before, but we can look at it one more time. Litecoin's more of an ascending triangle, nearly the same high.
Confluence, math, no tone. Structure recognize its own clone. I ain't predicting, I'm reflecting the rhyme.
But yeah, if the pattern holds, Zcash was leading Litecoin by about a month to 2 months. It bottomed a month before, started this rally 2 months before. Litecoin eventually caught up, started correcting before, made that second touch to the upper trend line a month before Litecoin did. Or was it? Yeah, a month to 2 months. And Zcash started rallying like 2 months ago. It bottomed. So if it's going to repeat, Litecoin should be bottoming around here. And then usually at the end of these triangles, once price finds a bottom before the breakout, it's not very long. Right, it takes much longer to establish this first high. This is 154 days. But once it actually bottomed, it was only 56 days, you know, like, yeah, 56 days to the all-time high, the 21 all-time high. Or 70? What? 2 weeks? 70 days.
Find freedom through broken dreams. Flow with friction, decline. Users chase peace, not the headline. Migration ain't hype, it's design. You can feel the current cross the line. You can feel the current cross the line. Bandwidth burns, so the faithful migrate. Gas fees gatekeep, they exit, create. Markets just water, remembering this slow. Utility, the gravity, narrative, the road.
I think we're gonna finish Q4 strong, not just based on this, but Q4, Q1, maybe the very start of Q2. It's kind of hard to ignore 100% accuracy in calling the top and bottom the last 4 times. The candle after the 9 called the top, and the 9 buy signal called both bottoms. So if it repeats again, we top in April. October can still be bullish. We got a couple more weeks. I think the market can reverse. Maybe not right by the end of the month, the new highs, but we can close this green. Yeah, fear turns into greed really fast. They're like the two strongest human emotions. Alright, daily candle close. Right on the $90 meme line. I really kind of care more about the bear charts right now. Because I'm bullish on alts over Bitcoin, others in general. Even though most people, I think, are the opposite because they're following Ben Cowan. What's the... I'll play the 120 song. Alright, give me a sec. Are you ready? This is the 120 song.
Energy proportional, pressure to the square. Silence got density. You can feel in the air, volatility fold.
Master, what do you think of these pair charts?
Candle just compounding the sound. 8-year coil.
Looks strong. Look like even though we had that massive wick down, Litecoin's regaining strength here. I think we got a decent chance to move. It's interesting with I never really use Ichimoku, but seems like we have a window of opportunity to break out here through this narrow portion of this cloud and then just go vertical. The same on all of them. Duration. It's thin here. Straight up. Like the same. Cloud is super thin on the weekly time frame too. What up, Nick? Yeah, it should be. Didn't Solana get one? How do you like the 120 song? I'll play the 121 song now.
Patience ain't passive. It's store acceleration.
Master, you ready for the 121 song?
You be coming.
This is called narrative supply. This is when we supply the narrative. I've been waiting to release these for a while. This whole album is called That's My Quant. Hey, what's up, Nick? Alright, I'll play the Post Malone one next. After the 121, I'll play the one. Where do I think the bottom's in? I mean, the wick bottom is in, but
I price emotion and implied demand. The crowd by the myth, for they understand. Story is the spread, truth the base.
yeah, I got 900. I think I have 400. Or yeah, 400. Like actually, I think I have like 400, or maybe more. But I don't know. I made so many music videos, planning this, writing this for 6 months, and I was waiting for a breakout.
I'm aware I'm the spark in the tape you read. Each verse a trade in collective creed. They said sell hope, I sold observation. Now the faith curve rising reaccumulation. Story is the spread, truth the base. Mark up emotion, discount grace. When talk become flow, volume climb high. Liquidity born from the words we supply. La, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Alright, I don't know which one you wanted to play, Nick. There's like a bunch that are similar style. I always themed like each album the same. There's like 3 that kind of sound similar to Post Malone style. Maybe it's probably not this one. It's the first one.
Used to think the silence when I wasn't right. Now the quiet's peace, yeah, I sleep at night. Used to chase a maybe, used to beg a why. Used to see my worth in someone else's eyes. Used to drown in noise just to feel the tide. Now I float above it.
Oh, play We're All Gonna Make It? Alright, I'll play that one after this one. Not all of them are on Apple Music, but I'm waiting for the breakout to put those on Apple Music. All these ones. Most of the some of the Litecoin ones are on there. Alright, it's not this. Was it this one? My stream is a little bit delayed.
They said I dream too loud, I said they think too small. I was building what they doubted, now they see it on the wall. Every scar became design, every loss became a line. A follow was divine, don't beg, just a line. Got receipts from every season that they swore I fell behind. Now the proof is here, see my way from the other side. It's already mine, I don't gotta fight. I've been living in tomorrow since I was 9. They can't take what's written in light. I don't wait, it's already mine. It's already mine. It's already mine.
Alright, I'll play that one after this.
Storms like it's gravy. Every note just made me steady. Every break just made me ready. They want credit, I want calm. They want trending, I want bomb. I got love that don't expire. I'm the fuel, not the fire. I don't chase the crowd. I raise the sound. Everything I said in silence is everywhere now. It's already mine, I don't gotta fight. I've been living in tomorrow since I was 9. They can't take what's written in light. I don't wait, it's already mine. It's already mine. It's already
Alright, we'll listen to We're All Gonna Make It now. You gotta listen to the intro though.
At first, you try to drown out the voices, the noise, the doubts that aren't even yours, but still find a way in.
I should
You
DJ the
question
yeah, I should.
everything. Your timing,
I should create my own Litecoin
choices,
summit.
and yourself. But then something shifts, not all at once, but enough to stand up straighter, to remember what got you here. Because you didn't imagine this, you earned this. Every step, every scar, every sleepless night. And now, we aren't afraid anymore. We don't wait for consensus to shift. We lead. We're all gonna make it.
Finally learned to strike, so we're goodbye. Great, let's go. Finally earned hype, so we're goodbye. Wait, now it's tight, let's go. Finally earned stripes, so we're goodbye. Great, let's go. Finally earned hype, so we're goodbye. Wait, no, it's tight, let's go. We're all going to succeed, even me. I promise it's true, I mean that.
that's right, tight. Let's go, we're all gonna make it. Tight, let's go. I finally earned stripes, so we're good, right? Great, let's go. I finally earned hype, so we're good, right? Wait, no, that's tight, let's go. I finally earned stripes, so we're good, right? Great, let's go. I finally earned hype, so we're good, right? Wait, no, that's tight, let's go. We're all gonna make it. We're all gonna make it.
Play the hype song?
We're all gonna make it.
The EDM stuff? You want me to play the EDM music? I feel like I gotta wait. Like, that's good for like euphoria, you know, upon the breakout. We could just play that on repeat. What's up, MK? Can I play the sad songs? The crazy one? There's a lot of kind of crazy ones. I think we've covered all the moods, all the emotions you can cover for markets. Are you talking about these? The first one isn't that great, but it's just hard to play this for me in this environment right now. And it just supposed to be hype everyone at the lows. All right.
Number go up, ticker on fire, screens all green, charts get high, silver rocket, vertical flight, blink one time, new all-time high. Never go up, never down, never go up, shake the town, never go up, crowds insane, never go up, feed the flame.
Breaking news. Litecoin just hit another all-time high. Experts say this rally might never end.
How many times has Litecoin been at $90 the last 4 years? God damn. It is $90 forever if you're out here.
Never down, never go up, shake the town, never go up, crowds insane, never go up, feed the flame, never go up, never down, never go up, shake the town, never go up, crowds insane, never go up, feed the flame, never go up, always scream, never go up, chase the dream, 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 never go up, chase the dream.
Yeah, this will be fun for the intention for these were to be in a, you know, mega rally. But I was trying to think, like, if we have the network effects where people come here not just for like technical or fundamental analysis, but more so just cultural things, and they bring their friends, or the network effects grow, and we can hold attention, like
LTC is dead.
that's attention does equal liquidity on the buy side. I'm not trying to just pump Litecoin. I'm trying to have fun and also communicate the fun thesis. Just one all-in market bid.
Nobody uses it. It can't compete. The devs all left.
Where's Chris Green at? He should come in here. You gotta build the network effect so that it's so loud that you can't not watch it. People will be like, have you watched this?
It's just a copy. No smart contracts. No institutions want it. Bitcoin already won.
But I don't know. It's like if you're looking for information on Zcash bump, has there ever been? I wanted to have a 24/7, like enough content so it never like really repeats itself, that people wouldn't get bored. But is live all the time. A place for like community hangout plus just something that would make people feel the emotions of mania. But if you can retain some like the attention of enough people, it becomes impossible to ignore. And I think you need like in crypto probably like thousands of concurrent viewers to break out. To break mainstream media awareness, probably like 10,000, 20,000. But it can grow exponentially, especially if it's 24/7 and this market's global. I know the numbers. Search interest can go up 1,000 times. And it can get funneled here. So there's a chance. Have a lower song? I know. I didn't make any lower songs. Probably should. I think when it's really chaotic, if I just played like 6 at the same time, it'd be fun.
One chain! One chain! One chain! One chain! One chain! How many chains? One chain! One chain!
Just chaotic. Nobody knows what's going on, and there's just 6 videos playing at the same time.
What's its name? LTC! LTC!
I don't know. Do you guys think that idea is bad?
Who's still strong? LTC! Who don't fall? What? Who holds long? LTC!
I need to change my. I have my screen mirrored on one of those.
One chain! One chain! One chain!
But what if I did that? What if I had all these at the same time? It's just a price chart threading the needle.
Who's got speed? What? Who's got trust? LTC. Who's still here? What? Who's with us? LTC. Just motion. What's its name? LTC. What's its name? LTC.
Is that too chaotic? Does this work for TikTok, Brian?
LTC. 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 They hold you down. Trust. They sell you lies. Trust. They never walk. Trust. They say it's done. Trust. We've just begun. Rise, 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 rise.
I'm gonna build the music liquidity curve, retain people's attention. Music turns into price discovery.
They play pretend. Rise. This never ends. Rise. They play pretend. Rise. This never ends. Rise.
I don't know. But I know how manias are and how stupid it gets. I feel like the more noise, the more stuff going on, maybe the better. Maybe it's so silly. Maybe it works. Alright, I think I'm gonna go log off. The ambient songs, I have them, but I uploaded it to my YouTube.
And I don't blink, I let it run, and I breathe in sync. This is price discovery. No top, no tether, no face. Just rhythm, just retribution made trace. Just silence. Finally moving with grace. Finally moving with grace.
Alright, peace out, Nick.
I didn't need to be first. I just needed to stay. Now every point past 40 southern
Need to
hill,
add
we
a
rode in
Subway
the dark.
Surfer? I'll
They
make
said
the
it was
guy like,
speculation,
yeah, that's a
but
good
I saw
idea.
with scripture. This ain't the top, this is the tier, this is the sound of the
Silver
shell cracking
Subway
and the
Surfer.
world leaking out. This is price discovery. This is price discovery. This is price discovery. You can't chart what never asked permission.
You had your chance.
Alright, guys. Hope you have Have a good night. Thank God it's Friday. Extreme compression. Let's send it. See ya, friends.
You love.
You guys need to go listen to these on Spotify or Apple Music so I can get paid 0.00003 cents. I noticed there are days where streams on Spotify and Apple Music spike. I don't know why.
You said it's straight, you said I'm wrong. Now you're back, like nothing's gone. You had your chance. You had your shot. You changed your mind. I did not.
See ya.